Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Scared Shitless. This is a horror retrospective, the show where we rip open horror media like we are ripping the flesh off a werewolf's body. That is a spoiler warning for anyone interested. I'm Ryan, and today I am joined by Kane, aka Ali.
How you doing, guys?
Frankenstein, aka Al. And plain old Jamie.
Hi.
This week we are going to be looking at the 2007 Halloween anthology film Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat is 5 interwoven stories that occur on Halloween. It's the story of an everyday high school principal who has a secret as life as a serial killer, a college virgin who maybe is looking for a guy, a group of teenagers who are pulling a mean prank, a woman who hates Halloween, and an old grumpy man who has a run-in with a trick-or-treater. It was written and directed by Michael Dougherty, who also made Krampus and the new Godzilla movies. And it stars Quinn Lord, Anna Paquin, Brian Cox, Dylan Baker, and Leslie Bibb. Yeah, I had never seen this film before. I was really looking forward to it. It did not disappoint. What did you think about it, Al?
I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I'd seen it before, but it turns out after watching it that I had seen it before. I think I must have seen it round about the time when it came out, because as I started to watch it, just certain bits and pieces of it started coming back to me. But yeah, I really enjoy it. It's just a really fun movie. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but there's some really good bits and pieces in it.
What did you think, Jamie?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I'd never seen it before, like at all. I really liked the sort of 5 stories element to it, and they interweaved with each other at certain parts, which I thought was also really interesting.
What about yourself, Ali?
Same perspective as Jamie, and I also enjoyed the comic book opening titles to the film as well.
Yeah, that was actually really nice. Cool. I heard the reason they done that is because apparently they released, or were going to release, I'm not sure if it ever happened, but they were going to release connected comics as well. So each comic book was going to be like another little story, then they were all going to be interwoven into it as well, which I think is pretty cool. I have no idea if it happened. I think I'm actually going to have a look, because if I can find some Trick or Treat comics that are interwoven, I want them. Yeah, I think they'd be a good fun read. I think as a whole, I really liked how all the stories were kind of interwoven. At the start, I didn't feel like they were. It felt a bit disconnected. But then as the movie progressed, they all tied into each other, and I really enjoyed that.
The Trick or Treat comics were created and have been released.
Okay, fair enough. In that case, I think I'm going to be purchasing some Trick or Treat comics. So, but yeah, so I mean, I suppose going into the different stories. So we've primarily got the robot girl who is unhappy about Halloween. That's the kind of first story we're introduced to. It kind of bookends the movie, opens with her and closes with her. The second story, we've got the story of the high school principal who's the serial killer. We have the girls, Anna Paquin, the college virgins, who is has a wee surprise themselves. We have the fourth story of the kids, and the final one of the grumpy old dude who doesn't like Halloween.
With his NRA license in his pocket and his rifle by the fire, or wherever it was.
Out of all the stories, Ali, which one did you enjoy the most, if you had to pick one?
Well, considering I just watched it 11 last night, so it's quite fresh in my mind now. I'm gonna have to go with the mystery of the school bus, of how it all came to be. I really enjoyed the whole outcome of that story. It was basically he got his comeuppance in the end.
Yes, so that story is very much tied into both the grumpy old dude story and the story of the teenagers. So the teenagers kind of take this other girl out to play a prank on her, and the story of the school bus comes in where these 8 children were killed on Halloween and driven off a cliff and drowned. And the corpses of said children rise and kill said teenagers and said old grumpy man.
Yeah, it was nicely done. I really enjoyed that because you were thinking, oh, who is the bus driver, and then come to the conclusion of the film, you're like, oh.
I've got to say, I never actually gave that a single thought until it got to the end and they turned up on his door, and I was like, he's the bus driver. And then it showed you he was burning, the photo of the bus and whatnot. But I never put it together until they turned up on his doorstep. What do you think, Al? What was if you had to choose a favorite of the stories, do you have one?
My favorite was not as a whole like Ali was, but just the kids doing the school bus story. I liked sort of like the comeuppance that they got at that, and I really liked a couple of things. I quite liked Rhonda, because I think right at the start, what was it? They call her retard Rhonda or something like that.
Yeah.
And she turns and goes, "No, I'm an idiot savant."
Yeah.
Then I really liked it at the end after they'd all basically pretended they'd been murdered and that she was going to get attacked, and then of course that happened to them, and then she just got in the cage, shut the cage, pressed the button to go up, left them all to get killed, and gave them a wee wave as she went.
She did. Jamie, did you have a favorite?
I really liked all of them. I mean, I quite liked the principal storyline, because like he was fucked up. You don't
was fucked up.
Really was.
You don't often see movies like killing kids. Like, I think this has got the highest kid kill count of any movie I've seen. And I really enjoyed how he got his comeuppance in the movie.
To be honest, the kid he killed was a wee prick anyway.
So
he actually killed, I believe, 2 kids in it.
Well, there was one in the grave, wasn't there?
Yeah, the one in...
Was another college girl as well?
Initially, I thought the one in the grave, he also killed the girl at the party. But the one in the grave, initially, I thought was the same kid, until we saw the first kid's head on the table, and it's like, well, that clearly wasn't the one in the grave, because he came back in, minus a head to go downstairs to get the head. But I suppose, seeing as we are talking about it, we'll wait. I was going to skip ahead to the kills, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, I think my favorite story of them all was actually the Anna Paquins story, and the college virgin who was out looking for a man to lose her virginity. And then
I did not see that coming.
Of course, turned out that by virginity, she actually meant the first time she turned into a werewolf and killed someone, which I thought was incredible. I did not see them being werewolves. They kind of, despite me not seeing it coming at all, they kind of foreshadowed it. They kept making werewolf references and Little Red Riding Hood references throughout. I mean, obviously she was dressed as Little Red Riding Hood, so I just put it down to that. But then it's like, okay, it's kind of,
the transformation with sequence was cool as well. That was something different.
I was actually going to say that. I think it is, I mean, well, for starters, they done it to a rockin' Marilyn Manson soundtrack, which is also cool. Yeah. They kind of sexed it up. That was a sexy transformation. And I've got to say, like, you saw one of them like peeling the other one's back off and them ripping bits of flesh off themselves. And I would honestly say it is probably one of the best werewolf transformations I've ever actually seen. And it's actually inspired me. So at some point in the not too distant future, we will be dropping a rankings or tier list of some sort of the best werewolf transformations. So if you are interested, come back and check in for that, or let us know in the comments section what you think the best werewolf transformation is, because this one was kick-ass. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, I thought it was excellent. I had no idea it was coming, and then they had the guy sort of pinned down, and I was like, where are they going with this? And then I was like, oh my god, they're werewolves. This is awesome.
Yeah, he was a vampire.
They didn't just morph. They didn't just morph into werewolves. Like the ripping was amazing.
Yeah, it's like
peeling the skin off their arms and legs like sleeves, basically.
Yes,
that was pretty cool.
It was very cool. And yeah, like we say, it made you think that he was a vampire, but it turns out he wasn't. His fangs were fake. But yeah, I mean, I thought the payoff was so much cooler than
How did he kill a college girl then? Because you saw that her blood coming out of her, but you didn't exactly see how he killed her. I missed something. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't see it.
Maybe ceramics.
He just it could be, yeah. I mean, we just saw.
He could have just bitten her.
Yeah. But yeah, we didn't see that kill for certain. We just know he did kill her. We know he did bite her, but we don't know that the bite killed her. We don't know if he'd done something else.
No, because there was a lot more blood in her later on, wasn't there?
Yeah,
there
was. Yeah, there was. But I mean, right. I suppose we're talking about it. So let's get to the kills in this movie. So from my estimations, and it kind of depends how you count them, but I counted at least 18, potentially more, depending on how you actually count these kills. So, well, I'll go through them and we can see if you agree. So the first person was the robot lady who was stabbed with a lollipop and hung up on the decorations. I don't know if she was stabbed or had her throat cut or whatever, but she was killed with a lollipop. Next, we have the chubby kid who was poisoned and decapitated. That's 2. Next, we have a person in grave killed with a shovel. That is 3, because, like I say, I believe that was a different kid from the chubby kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Girl in the alleyway / party killed by the quotation marks vampire / principal / serial killer dude. Next, 8 kids on the bus driven off a cliff and drowned in the water. Next, 4 kids killed by zombie kids. And then we have a vampire / serial killer dude killed at party by werewolves. And we have grumpy old dude killed by zombies. And that makes 18.
Wow.
But then we have, I've got a wee note here, side note, plus a bunch of other dudes at the werewolf party. But I don't know how many, or, there
was a random selection of probably 6 or 8 other guys dead, wasn't there?
Yeah. So there's 18 if you count it without adding those extra guys. So 18's a pretty.
That's a high body count.
A high number, definitely.
In fact, this is the highest body count we've had so far, if you don't count all the people on the plane and in the buildings and everything in Brightburn. If you only count the people we actually see him kill in Brightburn, then this has a higher body count. If you count the plane that he took out the sky, then it's not even close. But
it was another 240 on that plane, was it not?
I don't know. There was a lot of folk on a plane. It's but yeah. So out of 18 kills that we witnessed, Ali, which was your favorite?
My favorite kill was, in all honesty, was Anna Paquins' kill. I thought that was pretty cool.
Her killing the serial
yes.
killer.
Yeah, because I kind of wanted him to get killed for some reason. I just in the back of my mind, I know who the actor is. I just can't remember his name at the moment, but I just thought, yep,
Dylan Baker is his name.
Thank you. I just thought to myself, yep, you're getting your comeuppance for all your child killing that you've done. The only question that was left, what would have happened to his son after all that, you know?
We did see his son sitting out dressed like him, handing out poisoned candy at the end. So, and we did see that his son was, he was very much raising his son to be a killer like himself. He was going to carve up the decapitated head, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
And the kid was like, "I need help. Help me with the eyes or something."
Yeah, don't forget to help me with the eyes. And
creepy
I have to say that kid was definitely too young to be to be carving up a head. I mean, you should wait until you're at least 12 to be doing that. Just.
I don't think there's an age limit, right?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you don't start your own killings at least until you're pretty close to puberty. I mean, it's just bad form otherwise. So, Jamie,
he needs to refine his techniques, pulling the sort of wings off flies and shit first.
Yes, you got to go through the stages. He's getting ahead of himself.
Getting ahead of himself. He's getting ahead of himself. He needs to earn his stripes.
Exactly. It's called paying your dues, people. So, Jamie, which of the kills was your favorite from this one?
I think the principal again for me was my favorite kill. But I think the most disturbing kill was watching that bus go off the end of the cliff. I was like, that's fucked up.
The 8 kids on it.
Yeah, the 8 kids on it. And just as a side note, I think that thing works. That sort of story works as an urban legend, but I cannot see 8 families deciding they just don't want their children and paying a guy, 8 people on a small.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
Even back then.
Yeah, even back.
Our children have special needs, so we're just going to have them all murdered. I can
imagine the bus driver maybe getting bribed by one of them to do it, or the bus driver just like, I can't be bothered with this anymore. But I mean, as an urban legend, it works, and I think that was a really good use of a flashback. That whole scene.
Yeah, I agree.
And again,
I just find it really thing
sad.
Is though, because that story was told by children, we actually don't know how much of it was true. So we can probably assume that we know from what we saw that 8 kids went off, and the bus driver was responsible, but we don't actually know with 100% certainty that they did pay the kids. We can say that at least part of the story was true, but like all good stories, there's maybe a shred of truth in them, but likely not entirely. Al, what about you? What was your favorite of the kills?
My favorite kill was a wee fat kid getting poisoned, and then subsequently his head having been chopped off and carved up by the serial killer and the son.
Okay, fair.
He just immediately pissed me off. So when it became obvious that he was about to get murdered, I was quite happy about that.
It was
quite a brutal killing of a child to poison him and have blood. Throwing blood up all over the place.
Was it blood or was it chocolate or was it some weird combination?
Chocolate and blood.
I would say it's a mix of both.
The two. I mean, there was definitely blood in it because we saw the stains on the killer's
his
shirt
whole
afterwards.
Shirt was stained red. So
yeah,
I got this movie on Apple. I rented it on Apple. They're saying this is a 15. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think that's fine. It's not too graphic. It's really not very graphic. I mean, if you think about it, we really didn't see much. Like, we didn't see the decapitation happening. We saw a kid vomit and pass out.
Most of the child deaths aren't seen either.
Yeah.
The 4 down the line, other than the ones getting driven off the bus, you see it go over and it goes down, but you don't see anything. There's just a couple of masks float out.
Coming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the it's more implied violence than actual on-screen violence. So
Yeah.
it
There's not even any big
didn't-
scares in it.
Not really, no. So it certainly wouldn't be, it wouldn't earn more than a 15. But yeah, I think I would go with the grumpy old dude at the end for my favorite kill. I was partly surprised he made it through his encounter with the trick-or-treater known as Sam. He made it through that because Sam got a piece of candy left, and you thought, okay, he's safe, but then only to be killed by the zombie kid showing up at his door, and it kind of happening, and you just hear him scream, and then it happens in comic form. So you don't really see much other than a couple of stills of the comic book. But I just thought that was really cool. You think he's safe because he makes it through. But then it turns out, no, he's not safe. He's the one who drove the bus off, or he was the bus driver, and he's now responsible, and they're getting revenge on him. So I thought that was quite satisfying. Yeah, I would say that was my favorite death. Although the most graphic death was certainly the one you said, Al, with the kids, with the kid vomiting and being decapitated.
I like the part about Brian Cox's death, in the exactly what you're saying. You think he's got pretty badly fucked up by Sam in the house, and you think he's going to kill him, and then he lets him go.
Yeah.
And you think, fucking lucky bastards! Like, he's got away with that, and it seems like that's the film wrapping up, and it's going to be it. And then he opens the door, and one set of nice innocent trick or treaters. That's fine. Gives them some candy. Door goes again, and then that's it.
That's it. So speaking of Sam, what do you think about him? Yeah, what do you think about Sam? They never actually say what he is, but I am assuming he's like some demonic representation of Samhain, or it's actually Halloween actually comes from the pagan festival Samhain, which I know it isn't actually pronounced like that. It's just spelled like that. It's actually pronounced Samhain or something. But it was the festival to signal the end of the harvest and the start of the darker months. And they did also believe, it's the one night where, the living and dead were, I don't know, weakest or whatever. So I believe
the little girl explained that, right?
Yeah, she explains that briefly. So I believe he's some sort of demonic representation of the holiday in general. Although they never actually say what he is. So
no, they don't. No,
I'm assuming Sam is short for Samhain, but I may be wrong. But I thought he was super cool. I really liked him. I think, I liked him with the bag over his head. I liked him when he came off, and it's like some weird pumpkin head thing. I felt like he was equal measure creepy and cute at the same time. Like, you'd be creeped out by him, but you'd also kind of want to play with him. Maybe that's just me. I like that, he murdered people with candy and razor blades.
Yeah, that's what it was, wasn't it? It was it was like sort of like a broken glass kind of lollipop, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And
he had a razor blade stuck in the end of a candy bar.
The creator of the movie made that character because, Christmas has a mascot, Santa Claus, and Easter has a mascot, the Easter Bunny. So he was like, I'm going to make my attempt at what I think a Halloween mascot would be. And that's why we got that character.
I think he's a phenomenal Halloween mascot. And I mean, he gave me everything I wanted from it. I love him crawling about on the ceiling, like I said. And he took 3 point-blank shots with a shotgun like a boss. His hand came off and still moved by itself, like fucking cousin It from the Addams Family. Yeah.
It was even more creepy because it was a child's hand, though.
Yeah.
That made it, I don't know why, but it just made it so much more creepy that it was this little child's hand. Just like, what the fuck?
So, my personal opinion, he's a new horror icon as far as I'm concerned. Up there with Ghostface and Pinhead and Leatherface. and there's a lot of faces,
All the faces.
for
Yeah.
horror icons. But I think he's up there. What do you think, Al?
Yeah, I really like him. I really liked that even when he wasn't directly involved, when it was other people were doing the killing, he was always in the background.
Yes.
He was almost not quite
What-
foreshadowing, but he was just always there overseeing everything. And it was kind of like you say, like he's there and he's bringing all this to bear on the town, regardless of whether he's actually directly doing it himself or he's just there observing.
He only seems to intervene when people break the rules of Halloween.
Yeah.
Otherwise he just sits back and watches. But what did
He's
you
like
think of?
a wee crazy enforcer.
Yes, exactly. Tiny little demonic enforcer of the rules of Halloween, which I think is super cool. What do you think, Jamie?
Yeah, as I say, I liked him. Yeah, I thought it was great.
You agree, Ali?
Yeah, no, totally. I agree with you that he's definitely the mascot for this film. No doubt about that.
Okay, so I suppose we'll just move on to our overall thoughts of the movie and our rating. So I'm going to go first for a change. I'm going to say that personally, I think this movie is really enjoyable. Doesn't take itself too seriously, but at the same time, it's not too much of a joke. And I think it has a lot of rewatch value. I think I do genuinely think this is a film you could watch again and again. Completely unlike the movie we watched last week. So I would say this is 4 out of 5 stabs. So Ali, what would you rate this film?
I'll infinity % agree with you for once. Definitely worth 4 stars, mate. It was enjoyable. I will watch it again. And yeah, I wouldn't just not watch it around Halloween time. I'd watch it. It's one of those films that you would just pop in for a good time, And like I said at the start, it was definitely the comic book opening titles and closing titles that definitely grabbed me right away.
Grabbed you from the start. What do you think,
Grabbed me
Jamie?
from the start.
How many stabs would you give this one?
Yeah, I decided before the podcast that it was getting four stabs. I think it's well deserved. It's a shame the film isn't sort of more well known. I looked it up.
I agree.
I looked it up and was like, why is it not more well known? Apparently, was it Saw 4 was coming out at about the same time, and then Warner Brothers pushed this movie.
Yeah.
I don't even think it got a cinema release. I think it just went straight to home release.
Yeah, it done like circuits of different film festivals and stuff, and then went to home release after that.
From what I understand, like Saw 4 sucks, and this film might have taken away box office from Saw 4, and it totally would have. It was a great film.
We will find out if Saw 4 sucks at some point in the future. Al, what would you rate Trick or Treat?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to break from tradition here, and yeah, absolutely. I was the same as Jamie before I even came on. So yeah, 4 stars. It's not the perfect movie, but it's just so damn entertaining, and you could watch it anytime. I will 100% watch it again, probably quite often, because it's just, you can just stick that on and have it on, even if it's just in the background. It's just good entertainment. You don't have to, doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just just a fun movie, and without being ridiculous.
Okay, so we unanimously agree that this movie was great, and everyone at home should watch it. So have you seen it? Let us know in the comments, and let us know if you were scared shitless. Happy Halloween, by the way. I don't think I said it, but it's Halloween. So happy Halloween. Enjoy. Don't eat too much candy, or do. Be sure to obey the rules of Halloween, or Sam will get you. If you want some Harry Potter content, you can head over to Jamie's channel, Potter Nerd. Link will be in the description. If you want some professional wrestling content from the man in the mask himself, you can head over to Ali's channel, Aldo SJ McLaren. Link will be in the description. He also does comic book and sci-fi stuff as well. And if you want more horror stuff, click one of the things on the screen, because we do loads of horror stuff, and we have more. Watch it; it's good. Click subscribe as well, and we will be back as always. Next week, we will be starting the Final Destination franchise with Final Destination 1. And like any good villain, we will be back for one last scare.